Welcome back to This Life of Ours. If you're new to my channel, my name is Tricia and I have 3 kids that I homeschool. They are ages almost 13, 9, and 7. Today I'm going to be sharing schedule for first grade. If you're a longtime viewer, you're going to probably realize that I do not have a first grader this year. I am sharing the schedule that worked for us last year. I don't like to share the schedules of what I hope will work for us this school year, because I don't feel like that gives you an accurate reflection of what actually worked, because it always takes time for us to tweak it and figure out what's actually going to work for us. Today I also put up a video on tips for developing a school year, or developing a schedule for your school year. That will be linked below, so be sure to check that out. Later in the week I'll be putting up schedules for my fourth grade and 7th grade. Or no, 3rd grade and 7th grade as well. Once those are up, they will be linked below too. If you've already watched the tips video, you'll know that the schedule that I thought we would have this past school year is not the schedule that we ended up with. So what I am sharing with you is what worked, but it took us until pretty late in the fall in order to tweak it for this. Now, I am not a stickler for lots of schoolwork for young kids. In kindergarten, I do some work most days of the week with my kids. 1st grade, I do some work every day, and then in 2nd grade, we transition to work, their set work every day, roughly. And then by 3rd grade, it's really set in there. I am a big fan of play for young kids, as well as kind of listening to them and what their needs are. So what I'm going to share with you is what happened on an ideal day. There's a little bug. Sorry. So this full schedule did not happen every day. There was room to tweak it, as I said, depending on what was going on. I would start with Matthew between 9 and 9:30, usually more like 9:15, 9:30 range. And we would start out doing our together work, which included math, reading, or phonics, depending on which one we alternated with those, geography, which we did a couple days a week, logic, which we did a couple days a week on alternating days from grammar, Awana, and grammar. We used first language lessons and he loved it, so that was something we did almost every day. And that chunk would take us about a half hour. My goal was never to do at the very top an hour. I tried to cap it at 45 minutes because I find that's a really kind of good amount for that age. Then he would take a little bit of time to go play, have a snack, something, and then then he would tackle his independent chunk, which I keep very small at this age. I do not like to push young kids into doing independent work. In fact, he did more independent work than my other kids because he asked for it. At this age, my others were not doing as much as he was. But he asked for it and he could do it well. So again, listening to my kids, this is what kind of we came up with. So if we read together in the morning, he would do his phonics separately, or vice versa. He would do his handwriting as well, and then any other independent work that was straggled, left over, and I tried to keep his independent chunk at no more than 15 to 20 minutes at the most. Sometimes he would also pull in a little bit of math if he wanted, but I found that anything more than 20 minutes and he tended to, I don't know, it just didn't go well. Now on his desk this year, I kept a basket of things that he could do if my attention had to be shifted somewhere else. So if I was working with him and then Elizabeth needed something that was time urgent, I could just tell him to get something out of the basket. And those would be things like books that were really easy for him. I found some things on Teachers Pay Teachers that were like, you laminated them and they're strips of pictures, and they would have to write down the beginning sounds or the ending sounds. It was just a variety of easy things for his age that he could do completely independently. And we're also short, so that if I had to divert my attention for a couple minutes but then come right back, he wouldn't be in the middle of a project. So after our together work and his independent chunk, then he would have time that I required him to be in the schoolroom, not off playing Transformers or whatever, but something in the schoolroom. But he had a variety of things he could do. We had different independent games, I think fun mostly. There were puzzles. He could listen to Awana on the iPad. I have a few different iPad apps that he really enjoyed this year, like Teacher Monsters to Read. There were a couple of coding ones. He could do that. He could get on the computer and play Sesame Street or Reading Eggs. He really loved Hour of Code, but so he could do that, but some of them were a little difficult for him. Whatever it is he wanted to do, read. He could read, color. He had a wide variety of things that he could do. But since he was in the schoolroom, I could kind of monitor to make sure that they were kind of school oriented. I also have some toys, different balance toys and manipulative type things that he could play. So that'd be our morning. We'd break by 11:30. And then in the afternoon, 2 days a week, we do PE at the YMCA. Sometimes we will do an audiobook or a documentary on the way to and from, so that we're getting a little bit of school time in on those days, but we're gone for several hours, so getting anything else in on a PE afternoon is not realistic for us. The other afternoons, we do history and science together as a group. At his age, I do not require him to be sitting down actively participating each day. I do require him to be in the room so that he's picking up things as he's playing or whatever. But I'm not, since I teach those subjects towards the higher end, requiring him to sit and try to participate is just difficult. When we do watch a movie for history or science, I'd have him watch, or if we were doing an activity for science, that kind of thing, I would have him participate. Otherwise, he was free to play with toys or color, look at books, whatever, as long as he was in the schoolroom while we did it. So that is my schedule for first grade. Be sure to check below for the other scheduled videos, as well as my video on tips for developing a schedule that works for your family. Thanks for watching.